Hey guys, Jessica here with Jaywa Designs. Are y'all ready for this week's craft tutorial? Actually, this week I'm going to teach beginning sewers how to use a sewing machine. I have a more advanced machine, but I'm going to try my best to explain the more basic functions so you'll have a better understanding on how to use your first sewing machine. I'll also be going over how to do basic stitches on the machine and what they do, and basic supplies that you'll need starting out. Alright, let's go get started. I have 3 different kinds of scissors here. The big orange handled one is a pinking shears that has little teeth that make it easier to cut very slippery fabrics. The silver one there is just for fabrics. It has a straight edge, nothing special, but should always be only used to cut fabrics. And the smaller one here are embroidery scissors, usually just used to pick smaller threads. Also, you'll be needing some things to mark onto the fabric. There's fabric markers and fabric chalk. Fabric markers are good if you need something a little bit more permanent than the chalk, but it does disappear or wash out. And the fabric chalk is good for dark fabrics and rubs out really easily. Another thing you'll need is a seam ripper. It has a weird hooked edge on it, so that way it'll pick away at little stitches a lot easier. You'll also need rulers to help you measure your fabric. This one's a quilting ruler. It has a grid, so that way you can get the straightest lines possible. And also a retractable ruler. This one is used to help measure yourself, to help fit things to you. Of course, you'll need some thread. Today, I will be using some red thread, and of course, you'll need a bobbin, the smaller spool beside the big one, that will be placed in the bottom of the sewing machine for your bottom thread. You'll also need straight pins or clips. This will help you hold the fabric together while you sew it. These clips here you can find at any craft store. They grip the fabric really securely and without putting any holes in any delicate fabrics. And finally, the most basic thing you'll need for sewing is your sewing machine. This is my Genome, and I'll be teaching you how to use the basic parts of it today. So first things first, well, you'll want to turn on your sewing machine. Most sewing machines will have a switch on the side right here. This is where mine is, so I'm going to turn it on. So first, we'll take our thread and we'll go ahead and thread the machine. So you'll want to put the big thread on top here. Mine has a cap to keep it from moving. And then you take the thread around, loop it here, down and around again. A lot of machines will have a very similar method, and it comes with instructions on how to do it, so it might be slightly different from yours. And so we'll go ahead and thread the machine. So we're going to loop it around this tiny hook right here, take down the threader. Can you see? There's a tiny little threader that goes through the hole of the needle, so you're going to have to pull it through here on both sides, and then kind of pull it back, and you can see it goes through right there. So you go ahead and pull it through the hole carefully. Ta-da! Next, we're going to put the bobbin in the bottom machine for the bottom thread. So here's your bobbin. Go ahead and drop it down. This one actually has instructions on how to loop it around. So we loop it underneath this metal, and then pretty much just pull it this way. And then put the cover back on top. And this is how you pull the thread through that hole at the bottom so you can use both threads while sewing. Take both threads in one hand and then grab the knob, your dial here, and pull it towards you so you can see the needle. And so you can see the needle drop down. That's the machine catching onto the bottom thread. So keep on turning it towards you until it comes back up. And you will grab the top thread. It takes a little bit to figure out which one is which, but you pull it and it will go ahead and pull the bottom thread up. And there you have it. You are ready to sew. Just push it behind the machine, and there we go. So now we're going to talk about the basics of a sewing machine. My sewing machine is a little bit more advanced than most for beginner sewers, so I'm just going to go over the basic parts of it. First, we're going to start with this dial with the numbers. It goes all the way up to 9, and then you'll notice it goes all the way back down to 0. But you'll also notice that these numbers here are blocked or bolded. They're usually on most machines like that. They show that they are the basic setting for the tension dial. This tension dial helps the tension dial helps figure out what tension you need to sew certain fabrics. The basics are 3 through 5. I usually have mine set at 4. For certain fabrics, you'll need a higher tension, which you'll increase the number. And for certain fabrics, you'll need a lower tension, which you'll decrease the number. Next, we have this button here with the up and down arrows. If you hit that one, it'll make the needle go down or a needle go up. This is for starting sewing, or when you're finished sewing, you'll want the needle to go up. Also, you'll see here with the turtle and the rabbit, on my machine, you can change the speed of the needle. If you push the turtle, it goes slower. You can go in between speeds, or you can go really fast on rabbit mode. You'll also see this U-shaped arrow button here. This is the back tack stitch. This stitch is useful for securing a beginning of a stitch and at the end, so that way your stitching will not come undone. As for basic stitches that you'll need, you'll have your straight stitches. This is useful for sewing woven fabrics that have no stretch, such as cotton, wool, or polyester cotton. And then you have your zigzag stitches. This one is the most common on most machines, this number 10, and it's very useful for sewing stretch, spandex, or jersey fabrics. Also, you'll see these buttons here. These stitches are for sewing buttonholes. A lot of new machines will automatically do it for you with the setting, and these are very useful than having to figure them out yourself. If you happen to have a machine like mine for choosing stitches instead of a dial, you mostly just punch the up and down arrows to choose which stitch you want. So we want to choose number 10 zigzag. That's pretty much how you do it. As for these right here, these two numbers, this one changes the width of the stitch. No. This one changes the size of the stitch, and this one changes the width. I'll show you pretty soon on a piece of fabric. Another important part of your sewing machine is the pedal. This usually goes underneath the table that you're sewing and is controlled by your foot. The pressure, various pressure that you put on it with your feet determines how fast the needle moves up and down. A lot of the newer machines actually don't need a pedal to sew. They all can sew automatically for you, but I prefer using the pedal. It has more control. Now I'm going to show you how a straight stitch looks on the machine. So you go ahead and reach behind. There's a lever to pull the foot down like that. And we're going to put the needle down, and we will gently press on the pedal down underneath to start sewing. So it'll make a few stitches. Also, the various pressure on the pedal will determine how fast it sews. So I'm going to do the back tack that I was telling you about earlier. So it will go backwards, and then you let go of the button, push down the pedal, and it will go forward. So if you want to go faster, you push down harder, slower, let go a little bit. And so say you're finished with the stitch, you'll hold the back tack button again, and then push down the pedal, and it'll go back, and then you go forwards, and your stitch is locked and finished. Lift up the pedal foot and lift the needle up, and there you have it, your straight stitch. So now I'm going to show you how a zigzag stitch looks like. I've already chosen number 10 on my digital screen up there, so I'm going to lower the foot with the lever and put the needle down and go ahead and start sewing. My basic setting right now is number 5 for the width of the zigzag and 1.5 on how far apart the zigzag will be. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Slowly push down on the pedal. And you'll see it go side to side. And so I'm going to put the needle up and show you how it looks. So here's how it looks right now. It's fairly close together. You can make it closer for those embroidery satin applique stitches. But if you want a wider stitch, you will increase that 1.5 number. And this is how it will look. See, a lot wider. Another thing I wanted to show you, on most sewing machines, they will have numbers printed on the bottom underneath the foot on the plate. A lot of them are on the metal part, either on the plastic or on the bobbin cover. These numbers are inches, and they help measure how big of a hem that you want on what you're sewing. This is very useful in keeping the hems and the stitch straight. All right, that's it for today's video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer them. If you like to buy your own supplies, the ones that you saw in the video today, there are links in the bottom of the description. They'll bring you to where you need to go. Well, thanks for watching the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe if you did. Bye! If you like this video or any other ones you've watched, don't forget to subscribe and like my channel. And if you want to stay connected with my other social media sites, check those out too. Thanks for watching!